Good evening, this is John William Greenbaum. This thing that is in front of me is my Lionel layout. And if you're seeing this video, you either wanted to see my Lionel layout at one point, maybe you wanted to just kind of wonder what it was, or even maybe you've heard reference to it on Facebook or me mentioning it. But generally speaking, if you're seeing this video and if I tagged you on Facebook, then you actually did want to see this video. Or, sorry, you wanted to see this layout in the first place at some point in time. It is over 100 square feet. I believe it is 119 square feet. We have one operable main line, and unfortunately, even though it's set up for two main lines, I'll let you see that right there. One of the problems with setting up for two main lines is that you need block signals, which in turn have infrared sensors. Well, let me tell you something. Infrared sensors go bad really fast, and that means that you could actually have a collision. And we'd had one back in New York, and we've been a little leery about that, so we have not installed any IR sensors or anything of that nature as of yet. We kind of hope to do that, but as of now it's in the future. We also have plenty of model cars, as you can see, plenty of buildings, and plenty of people that my father did a wonderful job painting. And we also have tons and tons of operating accessories. I don't know if I said that. I hope I didn't. But point being, this layout really did take years and years to build, and actually has its roots about 1953, which is when my dad got it, or got the first pieces of it. The track is all modern. Just kind of taking you on a little tour of it here, and actually, as you can see, the double wide rails, that's actually meant for a block signal, and at one point we actually had a block signal with an IR sensor installed. We pulled that out. Again, we just are very leery of collisions. Now, the switches here actually do operate, and they operate remotely. So, yeah. Just giving you a little bit of a tour before we actually start everything up. There are actually two trolley lines, which are separate. There's this one, and over there you can see another one. Unfortunately, that trolley line, as of now, is not operational because the bumper at the end is problematic. The wood screw came out, and we need to put it back in. We need to drill a new hole because the wood actually got a little affected. We have some operating accessories over here. There's some actually really nice model cars here too, but here is the engine that we're going to be running. It's actually a very, very recent one. I plan to run some other stuff, but this is the first thing that we are going to run. A Lionel 7795 040 steamer, New York Central, even though it's actually a Pennsylvania Railroad design, I believe. And I'm also going to be showing you some of these cars and how they operate a little later on in the picture. But for the most part, I'm just kind of panning over everything now. And oh, and here's my if you've taken any looks at my Facebook page, I'm sure you've seen the many East Bloc, Yugoslav, and Chinese communist model cars and I am the furthest thing from a communist you will ever meet, but I'm sure that, you know, that I have kind of a fascination with that, and so I'll just kind of run this over. And yeah. Oh, and these are of course not communist. These are actually British Army in Northern Ireland, made by the incomparable Mal Stanford. And these, a lot of these are modeled by the incomparable Rob Schweitzer. Anyway, these were made by Britain's Limited. These toy soldiers, many of them are close to 100 years old. Some are actually older than 100 years old. And down there, oh, let there be light. And there's more. Yes, there sure is a lot. I like model cars, in case you couldn't tell. Trolley bus right there. Red square. And we're just, you know, going over this. So, those are dinky toys. Those were actually made in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Nice trolley bus right there. It's actually a birthday present to myself. And more trolley buses. But that's enough of that. Here are some locomotives. Also, those are tenders right there for the steam locomotives. A lot of these are much older, and we're going to get to running these later. Here we have some models that my father made on the bottom, and up top we have a New Haven electric, an M497 jet-powered rail car, believe it or not, and 3 Budd RDC rail cars, rail diesel cars they're called, and some diesel locomotives over there. Anyway. The one advantage to a diesel locomotive over a steamer, in my mind, is you get a nice little... the paint is more interesting. Our military base, the Kami compound, complete with KGB building right there. And this just was an additional table, and we are actually going to add a table. So, anyway, what I'm going to do is hook up the layout, because all it does is we just have to take this plug, just plug it into the wall. Oh, come on. I'm trying to do this through the lens of a camera. Ordinarily I wouldn't be such an idiot. Okay. Now you'll probably hear that little hum. That humming noise is coming from the transformers. Very briefly, and as you can see they are on, this is a 250 watt Type Z Trainmaster transformer. This was made in, I think this was made immediately after World War II. I think this one was made in 1946, although it is a 1930s design. And this, which is my favorite transformer, is a ZW. That's a 115 volt 60 cycle 275 watt transformer. This one was made in the early 1950s. I want to say 1951 or 52. It actually does predate my father's collection. I think his first transformer was considerably older. But I'm running out of time, and my camera can only record 10 minutes, so I'll see you in a minute.